What is up, guys? It is Joey Taylor PT, and rather than talk about veganism, paleo, all the kind of flash diets from today, we're going to go back through history and live like a Viking did. My mother brought this back the other day, and it's some mead. I've never had it before, but it got me thinking, they drank this, but what did they eat? So I went down the Wikipedia rabbit hole, probably one of the more normal rabbit holes I've found myself down. But basically, these guys, the Vikings, some of the most macho men in history, these guys actually didn't live a terrible lifestyle. They only ate 2 meals a day. They had the dagmal, which is actually just day meal. Funny enough, autocorrect corrects that one to dagmeal. And there's also the natmal, which is obviously night meal. So what these guys used to do is they had the big natmal during the nighttime after they're, probably pillaging and raping, which we are not going to be doing in this video. But they would basically have the dagmal the day after, because they didn't have, obviously, refrigerators back then. So they basically had a huge feast on the nighttime, went to bed, and then basically had leftovers on the day before, because of the lack of any sort of refrigeration. So basically these guys had the same meal twice, just chopped in the middle. And these meals basically consisted of fresh meat, berries, nuts, skyr, kvarg, all that sort of stuff. So to be honest, not actually too different to what I normally eat. The only problem is with the 2-meal thing. I personally have about 6 to 8 small meals spread out throughout the day. Now just doing 2 meals a day is probably going to suck, but hey, we are Vikings for the day. So, let's go. So unsurprisingly, looking at them, we always think of Vikings as big, hench, muscular guys with big beards. So it's probably not surprising then that these guys had a pretty intense training regimen. So back then, obviously they didn't have the skiers or the cable machines or anything. But what they actually did was they just trained with axes and all that sort of stuff. So there's a place in Newcastle I've always wanted to go to called Hatchet Harry's. So while we might not be looking for enemy ships to throw axes off, we can go through some targets after a pretty lengthy health and safety practice. So let's go throw some axes, shall we?
You're an absolute monk.
All right. It's another handheld unboxing, because of course it is. Alright guys, so we got a ton of protein pancakes because this is one of the best products I have ever had in my weightlifting career. Honestly, 2 pancakes, 320 calories, 60 grams of protein, pretty much no carbs and no fat. So honestly, it's amazing, tastes fantastic. We also got some socks because they are the neon ones. Got some jazzy colors. Now, this is the game changer, the Fruit Spread Zero. Now, it gets really bad reviews online because I think people are expecting a jam, when it's almost like a jelly. But to be honest, what I do on a nighttime, if I'm feeling a bit snacky, I'll just go to town on this. It is about £4 or £5, so it is quite expensive. But the fact that you could eat this full thing for 30 calories underneath, so it's absolutely fantastic, especially for those sweet cravings. And of course, my protein being Super Bros, We've got this very 1990s style orange shaker. Not that I need any more. And a free protein bar. This is the high protein bar. Now for 280 calories, probably going to be saving this for an occasion when I've got some spare macros. But the flavour sounds good and we're always game for the high protein. So the temptation is to think of Vikings as wild, unkempt beasts, but allegedly they were actually very vain. Just like 97% of men after last World Cup, they apparently love to bleach their hair blonde. Now, I'm not that committed to this video, but I will still partake in their bathing routine. So they basically had one a week, which may not sound like much to us, but that's actually quite a lot, historically speaking. Don't get me wrong, they would still smell like balls, but not as much as a caveman, for example. So while Vikings certainly wouldn't have these or, you know, my protein orders, last Christmas I received this lush Christmas advent calendar, which I was always saving for a special occasion. But as cheesy as it sounds, I'm recently starting to realise that every day is a special occasion. Especially today though, because I hit a bullseye with an upside down axe. Alright guys, I am so hungry after my axe throwing, so it's only about 5:30 p.m, but I've got a pretty early start tomorrow. So since I figure I'll be in bed by about 10, I'm gonna have my nap mal now because I am starving after axe throwing. It's pretty intense cardio and after a while kind of weights as well. So guys, here is my Viking feast. So I'm gonna break this down to 3 dishes and you know, it's definitely gonna fill me. So the Vikings normally had greens as the bulk of their meals. So they like cabbage, but I cannot stand cabbage. But they did have kale, so I've managed to substitute that with some kale. So hopefully that with some egg whites won't be as bad as cabbage. For the second dish, we've got some heck chicken sausages and semi-mashed turnip. Now, obviously Vikings wouldn't have heck chicken sausage, but they did eat chicken quite a lot. And I've got 2.5 kilograms of the sausage to get through. And we're going to finish it up with some skirt. And we're going to have about half of this. This is 1 kilogram. By the way, guys, £2 in Asda for a kilogram. This is a bargain. And we're going to have that with some Nordic berries that, of course, I've been picking quite frequently. And we're going to top it with some honey. They would have had the real thing, but to keep the calories low-ish, we're going to use the 0-calorie vegan honey skinny syrup. And of course, we're going to finish it up with some mead, but probably later on in the night, because I'm assuming the festivities would have lasted for a good few hours. So guys, the calories and macronutrients for this dish or dishes will be listed somewhere around here. But I just want to let you guys know that this is half of my protein for the day. 150 grams of protein. No wonder the Vikings were hench. Kids, it is time for the Dagmar. Pretty early in the morning, talking about 8 a.m. So what I'm gonna have, this is my pre-workout snack. Pretty much just gonna finish the skirt. This is really good actually, especially with this and the blackberries, which we have once again. Beautiful. We've got 2 apples. By the way, have you guys ever seen a more aesthetically pleasing apple than that? Woo, I picked that myself this morning. Very pleased with that. Got a more ugly cousin, but hey. We got some of the rye bread that we got from the company shop. I think I shared that on my rest and recovery video. Haven't actually cracked it open yet, so I'm excited for that one. And I picked this up the other day, which is the clementine and winter berry porridge. I feel kind of weird eating like Christmas food already because my next video is going to be a Halloween special. Spoilers. Yeah, I couldn't not buy this one. This sounds awesome. Oh my god, I've never actually thought of putting orange in porridge before, but that is a winter warmer. Guys, that is a banger. That was 75 pence, a little bit more than I'd normally spend on a single serving of porridge, but it's really good. So, according to the website I was going on for my Viking research, Apparently only it was the women and children that had oats, but I am pretty much alone in my tribe amongst my Viking peers. So I'm going to treat myself to some porridge because I'm worth it. I've also got some Voss, just because it's Norwegian, to be honest, no different to any other water. So yeah, guys, it's actually been really fun living as a Viking for the past 24 hours. Bit weird starting off with the night meal and then having the day meal the day before, but again, it's pretty cool. I like their way of living, that they never really had any like wasted food, which is quite good, quite economical. And I really like the whole like 2-meal thing, actually, because of the quantity of foods that I've had. I've actually not been that hungry at any point. I mean, this is quite heavy for a breakfast, but hopefully it's not going to affect my training today. Which, by the way, isn't axe throwing. I'm going to go back to a normal gym today. So guys, really hope you've enjoyed this video. I want to do kind of a series like this where I live like different historical people, so to kind of see what they lived like. But like I say, the Vikings were pretty sick in terms of their like nutritional interests. Like I say, most of their food is very high in protein, pretty good in like complex carbs, like, you know, fruits, porridges, rye breads and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully everyone else makes the challenge this easy, but let's find out. So hit me with some suggestions, guys, and I will see you in the next video.